Hello, hello, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gavin. This is my channel. Glad you're here. Hey, there was some news that happened a couple weeks ago that I missed while I was on my vacation, and I have to thank one of my amazing moderators for sending me the information that I'm going to share with you today. It has not been widely reported for some reason. Not widely. And so we're going to talk about it tonight, and I'm glad that you're going to join me. We're, of course, are talking about the case of little 13-year-old Maddie Soto. Maddie was murdered gruesomely and without any remorse, it seems, on February 26th, 2024, just a couple days after she turned 13. This is down in Florida. Her, I don't even know how to describe him, stepfather, I guess. Her mother's boyfriend is a guy named Stephen Stearns. He was arrested for her murder and charged with 60-something charges relating to the abuse, the SA of Madeline. And the question that I have had during this whole time is, what about Madeline's mother, 35-year-old Jennifer Soto? Well, we're going to learn a little bit about this today. We're going to have to take some leaps, but they're not going to be far. They're not going to be very long leaps at all. But we are going to be able to learn a lot about this case. If you haven't already, you can check out a bunch on this case over on my website, which is gavinfish.com. Let me bring you over there real quick. If you go over to the case pages, and then up near the top is Madeline Soto, there is a lot of documentation. I've covered a lot on this case, and so you are welcome to climb into those. What we are going to be looking at today is this document right here. So let's not bury the lead. Let's go ahead and head on over there. This is not where I want to be. I want to be here. Okay. All right. This is the first couple pages they're just blah, blah, blah. What we have here are 17 pages of communications from Stephen Stearns, mostly to his parents, through the little smart communication system through the tablet as he sits in jail. I'm going to go through all of it. We're not going to read all of it, but I'm going to go through all of it. But there is one little nugget, guys, that's going to point back over here. And then we're going to read a little bit out of a story that was published in Osceola County. All right. We're going to get past a couple of these things, and we want to get into the little, let's see. No, we're going to have to do all these. We're going to start with greetings, okay? This is from Chris Stearns. This is Stephen Stearns' dad. This is May 29th, I'm sorry, and he's basically saying, how does this work? Is it like snail mail? Like, I've never had a son in jail accused of committing heinous acts against a 13-year-old girl. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Let's see how this works. Okay, then there are a couple of other things about elections. All right, Stefan replies to his father. Hey, just got access to the tablet again. The reason I want to read all these guys is because it does give a little insight into life as a inmate. And I have to say, Stephen Stearns isn't nearly as precious as other inmates that we have seen in his communications. He seems to feel like he's being treated fairly. Like, it's, I don't know if fairly is the right term, but that he is being treated like this is the way it is. Like, maybe he deserves it, right? Okay, they've moved me to a regular isolation cell in C-Pod now. Presumably, this is where I will stay for a while. It's not exactly the Ritz. It's a small cell, and the pod is quite noisy. I don't think I would miss the medical pod, or I didn't think. But now I wish I was back in that big cell where at least I could partially see out of the window and look at the sky and the grass and the trees off in the distance as they swayed in the breeze. I will try to call as soon as possible. I imagine you have your hands full with puppies. Can't wait to hear all about it. Love you both. We'll call soon. P.S. I am still waiting for the books to get into my hands. No clue if they were delivered yet. Maybe I will receive them in the next couple of days. Hopefully, we'll see soon, I suppose. I would like Congo, The Hobbit to be among the next ones that you send, please. And maybe also a book on origami. That could be interesting to learn and a good way to pass time and satisfy my need to create and craft and use my hands. When you look at Mr. Stern's life, he is very much, I don't want to paint him in, I don't want to be unfair. Childlike isn't the right word. It's childish. Childish is the right word. So he's all about like small figurines and fantasy games and Tamagotchi toys and Star Wars. Now, that's not uncommon, right? There are plenty of grown people that hold on to their childhood that way. It's just, I don't know. He's saying he needs to work with his hands and craft a little bit. That's kind of what I thought of as kind of all of his play toys. Let's try that. Hopefully it's allowed since it's just folding paper, which I have plenty of in a different shape. So it shouldn't be a security concern, I wouldn't think. By the way, now that we've got a few people in here, let me just bring this up. If you want to get my attention in the live chat, just put GF in your chat. Okay. Now this is from Chris Stern, Stefan's dad. 619. Good to hear about your transfer and access to the tablet. Will this be full-time or limited like it is passed around on rotation? Let me know how often you have access to the tablet. We'll write something every day. Can you send your mother an invite so she can write you separately? I'll help her get set up on the computer. We confirmed a few books were received yesterday, the 18th, 5 of them. One more on Monday. We'll jump on the origami book and order it. The puppies are doing well. And Lacey is a super mom. Get this. Yesterday, mom had to rescue one of the puppies who got its leg in the collar. She snagged the puppy out of the pen, sat down on the bed to adjust the collar. While she was sitting there, Lacey, at a dead standstill, leaped over the 3-foot pen, landed squarely on the bed to be with her puppy. I hate to think what would have happened if she miscalculated the jump. Today, after many consecutive days of rain and threatening rain, no rain. We're in that rainy period of nonstop torrential rain that creates chaos with home building, flooding, and messy days. At least the ponds and retention ponds are looking normal again. They were really low. Tomorrow we travel with Lacey and the puppies to the vet to have the dew claws removed. This will be fun. Not, although it's better than your mother doing it, who is always a nervous wreck. It's worth the expense to avoid 7 puppies is 28 dew claws. Dew claws are little claws that are like up here on a dog. I personally don't think that you should remove dew claws, but also I had a dog, actually the one behind me, where is he? That way, who had an injury to it. So, I mean, that's why people do that. It doesn't really matter as far as this conversation. Better have the vet do it. Mom's writing a message below. So here's mom. Order the origami kit, which is book and 20 pieces of specific origami paper for the patterns. Also send out The Hobbit and Congo. That will be it Bookwise for the next couple of weeks. Those should hold you. I have the rest you want in the cart and marked as saved for later so I wouldn't forget which ones you wanted. The mom is writing love and hugs to you. It's such a mom thing to say. Now, you guys are like, why are you reading to me about puppies and origami and books and stuff like that? I guess it's to show that there's just seems to be normal conversation. And this is not abnormal. I think I've shared with you guys before. I mean, we're going to get to the abnormal part. Don't worry. But I've shared with you before that a friend of the family committed heinous crimes. I've used that word like 4 times now today, but committed horrible crimes. And my dad was kind of the last one left that would be his friend. And so those conversations were, once they both accepted that this is the way life is, I am in jail awaiting prison, or I am in prison now. And yeah, I have a friend who is a felon who committed horrible crimes against people I love. Once they just kind of admitted that to themselves and each other, then conversations became pretty normal. So I don't think that this is all that abnormal. All right, so then we move on. Okay, this is the same day, 8:55 p.m. Talking to mom and dad. Hey, the battery is low, so I got to be quick here. I don't know how often I will get the tablet since others use it, and I just have to wait until it's available. Can't get the commissary to work on it yet. Don't know why, but see if you can drop another $30 in there in the meantime so I can stock up on plenty of coffee. As for books, remove Christine, It, The Eyes of the Dragon from the list, and just wait for the Howling Trilogy book to be available to send that. The battery is about to die now. I love you both, and I accepted mom's previous request to connect. Hugs and kisses. Talk to you later. Yeah, this again kind of shows. I'm just thinking of the books that he reads. Again, not uncommon for people to read fantasy books. It's like things like The Hobbit. They're classics, right? But it like he's a little bit different of a person than I am. I'll say that. The books that I would order in are a little more ponderous, I think. But anyway, but they're classics. All right, books delivered from Chris. So dad to Stefan the following day, 5:06 p.m. Hey, Stefan, I confirmed today the books were delivered minus the playing cards. They have to confirm if they are allowed. If not, they will be placed with your personal property. Puppies and Lacey went to the vet to have dew claws removed. We docked the tails ourselves. Oh, I wouldn't want to do that. But okay. Glad that's done. Puppies and Lacey are resting, crashed out, nothing else to report. It was a restless night for you, for your mom and Lacey. Lacey, as you know, is quite vocal and is very vocal with your mother during the night, wanting attention, food, or to be let out. Lacey is a good mother, but very demanding. Hope your mom survives the 10 weeks. At this pace, I'm not sure. Laugh out loud. Catch you later. Okay, Stefan responds back, what, 2 days later? About 2 days later. Hey, finally have the tablet again. Give me a second here. Let me just put that in there. I can confirm I've begun to receive the books Dragon Teeth, Sphere, Timeline, Eaters of the Dead, and Sudoku. I've already read through Dragon Teeth and Timeline since Thursday, and I'm now reading Eaters of the Dead. Laugh out loud. Unfortunately, they would not allow the book on card games because it also contained playing cards. Or maybe it was just playing cards, not sure, but it was placed in my property. Also, the origami book arrived and suffered the same fate because it contained paper in addition to the book, which sucks. So I still need a book, just a book on it and nothing else. Could you possibly send a new one that is just a book? And going forward, send only books and nothing else with them. That's the rule. There's no allowance for any deviation from or reinterpretation of that rule. This is, again, a very good example, I guess, an illustration of, I think he's accepted his fate. I mean, he gets into a little bit more about prayer and hope and everything later, but you guys may not believe this, but I correspond back and forth with some current inmates. Some people who I've even covered their cases on this channel. I hardly ever hear from an inmate that isn't feeling like they're being improperly treated, like they're being maltreated or mistreated. He seems to be accepting of his fate. Seems that way anyway. Blah, 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 blah. Make sure mom understands this as well, as these items do me no good locked away in my property and are therefore also impossible for you to refund or exchange either, which is a total waste all around. Oh yes, I'm sure Lacey's quite demanding and starving all the time now, and I completely believe she is capable of leaving mom feeling harassed and henpecked. Lol. Life here in CPOD ISO is an adjustment. Just getting an eating utensil with meals is a hassle. Paper spoons are provided for people in S-Watch and medical, but apparently not here in the regular pods, which leads me to believe there must be a standard issue utensil, which I don't have. When I mentioned this to the officer dispensing food at lunch, he said, figure something out, and walked away. I will have to talk to the officers since I started in S-Watch and for the last 3.5 months have been in areas that are heavily restricted. I suspect there are many things which I should have but never received. The mat is flat, has very little cushion left. The cell is small, filthy, and has some spots on the wall that appear to be bloody fingerprints. So it's 7 puppies instead of 8. I love how he quickly turns. Also, did the social workers pass my notes to you regarding the accounts to cancel the Spotify subscription yet? I also had some instructions for some of my personal property in there for you. Okay. Let's see. That was... So 8 minutes later, Chris responds, good to hear from you. Sorry to hear about the hassle. I'll instruct your mother accordingly. How long do you get to hold the tablet? I just arrived home and need to unload groceries, but saw your message and wanted to get back to you right away. 4 minutes after that, I will have it basically until they ask for it back, which may be an hour or two, sometimes longer, dispensing on demand and how attentive the officer, I think he means depending on demand and how attentive the officers are. All right. So half an hour later, failed to respond to your earlier question about the note from the social worker. No, we have not received anything from her yet. What is it? About a half hour later, Stefan says, okay, no problem. She's probably awaiting approval from the attorneys. She has to run everything by them first. It also looks like I have used up the free bonus messages on the system, so now I will start using the credits. It seems this message will use 50 credits. How much do those credits cost? I currently have 200. As far as the notes about some of my personal property at the house, here we are talking about his personal property at his parents' home. What year? He was 37 when he was arrested earlier this year, so he's a 37-year-old man. Maybe I'm too judgmental on this. Maybe it's just that I don't understand. I don't know. But here we go. As far as the notes about some of my personal property at the house, it was mostly instructions for what to do with my Warhammer 40K miniatures and terrain. I have a bin of terrain pieces and a yellow and black bin in the garage that had been left near the treadmill, and several plastic boxes full of minis in my room and even under the desk. If you want to get them out of the way, I was going to suggest finding one of my friends on my Facebook page, Matt Measle, and seeing if he would be interested in any of them or the terrain, or if he might be able to help you sell them. Or if you would rather just donate them to the Northport group, he could possibly help with that too, if he is willing. Contact him, see if he's willing to, and if so, coordinate with him. As for any of my Battletech minis or supplies, just leave those alone for now. There's some boxes for Battletech and also a small gray box with a red handle that is labeled Battletech near the handle that contains a lot of my Battletech minis. Just keep that inside along with anything else Battletech related until we know more about how things will go. Yeah, I don't think things are going to go well for you, Mr. Stearns. I really don't. Matt wouldn't be interested in them, and almost none of the other guys played either, so hold on to it until I figure things out on my end. There's a second small gray box with a red handle that is not labeled. It contains a lot of Star Wars Legion minis, and it belongs with all the stuff that is in a blue bag on the closet floor that contains a bunch of Star Wars Legion and X-Wing stuff. I don't know what to do with that. I don't think Matt would be interested, but maybe Tristan might if you guys are inclined to ship it up to him. Don't know. It's up to you. For my trading card games and cards that are in the plastic drawers under my desk, leave them alone for now. But if we need to part with them in the future, Frank Peralta may be interested in some of them. But as I said, leave them for now until things become more certain for me, one way or the other. They have some value. As for my Tamagotchi and VPET collection that is hanging in the closet and around the room, don't do anything with them just yet until we know how things will shake out. A lot of them are rare, expensive, and difficult/impossible to replace in the kind of pristine condition they're in. So leave them be for now. Until we know more about my situation is going to be. Your situation is going to be dire, Mr. Stearns. Sorry for the info dump, but basically just contact Matt Measle about my Warhammer stuff. See if he's willing to help you with it. Don't get rid of any of my other stuff until we know for now. I don't know, maybe I'm reading between the lines just a little much here, and you guys already know how I feel about the whole like man-child kind of thing. He's just got a bunch of toys. He's 37 years old. Um, Also, the fact that he still has a room at his parents' house. I mean, maybe I'm just reading too much into this. It's bizarre to me. It's bizarre. Like, I moved out of my parents' home. Well, first when I was just shortly after I turned 19, and then I came home for a month. Then I moved to a couple after I came home from Argentina. I stayed for a month, and then I moved a couple states away for about a year, and then I did come home. Stayed at home for about 6 months when I was, what would that make me? That would make me 23, and then I was gone. Moved out on my own. I have not had a room in my parents' house since then. In fact, I really didn't have a room in my parents' house when I was staying with them. It had been moved on. It had become like my mom's my mom's office, and they let me stay in it. So it does seem a little bizarre to me that there is a room that is his room that he has when he's 37 years old. But again, maybe I'm just reading into this. I mean, the whole point of us buying this home where I'm broadcasting out of now was to be able to make it so that our children could come home with their children and have a place to stay. That was the point of getting a large home. So maybe I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. Maybe when my kids are 37, I will still have a room for them in my house. I don't know. But it just seems kind of weird that a 37-year-old man would have a room at his parents' house and it would be full of toys. I don't know. Put GF in your comment and tell me how I'm wrong or why I'm wrong. I would love to hear your comments on that. Okay, so he's got all these toys. All right. Chris responds that same day, cost is 50 credits per message. When I send a message, it allows me to check a box that returns 50 credits to your account. I'll discuss this with your mother and get back to you. Ruby Slippers. Gavin, where did you put all your toys? I didn't have any. I was a grown man. That isn't true. What my parents did, I had the toys and I even had comic books and stuff like that, but my parents boxed them up and put them up in the rafters in the garage or up in the attic. That was what was done with those things. And I was glad that they did, because when our children started to get the age of some of those toys, we went back to mom and dad's and got my old like Transformers and stuff like that. But they weren't like on display in a room in my parents' home. They were boxed up. That is so funny. Thank you very much, Ruby Slippers, for that question. Okay, got some vote stuff. We're not going to read that. Getting back. Okay, so this is a few days later. Stefan sends to his folks, hey, I have just gotten the tablet again, at least for a little while. The battery seems to run out quickly on it, though. Might last only a couple of hours. Man, I'm going to yawn. It's because this live stream is so boring. Sorry, guys. We're going to get there. Okay. The battery seems to run out quickly on it, though. Might last only a couple hours. I have received The Hobbit, so that makes 5 books total received beside the origami and cards that were stuck into my property. Still waiting delivery of Congo. How are things at the Poodle Palace? Miss you guys, and my mind is often occupied by thoughts of home. I wish I was there to help with the puppies. How are they and Lacey? Same day, a couple hours later. Hey, Steph, sorry for the delay in responding. Let me see if this is... Oh, nope. I just saw this. Amazon canceled the order, but we reordered it. Mom ordered a replacement origami book. Be on the lookout for that. The puppies are doing well. We recorded one of the puppies, how was making sounds like Chewbacca, and immediately decided to call the puppy Wookie. Lacey is being a super mother, takes after Kissy. Wish I could show you a photo of her nursing towards the end of the first day. She's face planted and the puppies are nursing. Sort of, I'm exhausted. Just nurse and leave me alone. Not much going on other than working and puppy. Here's mom. Okay, mom is talking now. As we were talking on the phone last time, I was looking up the books you said you wanted, putting them in a cart for later. Wanted to make sure I got the right ones. We will send out a couple at a time. I did reorder Congo. I don't know why Amazon canceled it, but they did. Maybe didn't have one available in paperback. Hopefully, this one goes through. Dad is right about Lacey. She is a great testament to Kissy, and Kissy was to Dazzle. So I think these people have been breeding dogs for a long time. The pups are gaining 2 to 3 ounces a day. Now are all over a pound. I'm about halfway through the ENS exercises. They only go for 2 weeks. I don't know what that is. Looks like eye shine in the inner corners of the eyes. By next week, they will be able to see, hear, and start walking. They are loud. I don't get much sleep between the heat lamp, nightlight, pups making their noises, and Lacey's demands to be taken outside every other hour and fed every 4 to 5 hours. It's truly a labor of love for us both. Love smelling and holding pups again. Wish you were here too. Finally reached the 50 pounds lost mark. Dad is looking like a third world refugee. He's so skinny. Big hugs. Stay strong. We love you. So they're all working on their weight too. All right. A few minutes later, hey, Dad looks that skinny. Wow. And congrats on mom for the 50-pound milestone. I keep thinking this is the one that I'm going to skip forward. This is the one that I want to read. Okay. This is the one I want to read. This is from Chris to Stefan. Sorry that I skipped through things. You guys can go to the website and see it, but here we go. Chris says to Stefan, you don't see the commissary and cannot order anything. I hope that gets resolved quickly. Do you remember your balance? Jail and prison are not meant to be comfortable. All part of the mental punishment, I guess. Stay positive. Talk with your attorneys. I keep thinking about how you would not ever rat out a friend. This is important, guys. I kept thinking about how you would not ever rat out a friend. It really made me mad, and I felt like you valued them over us when you let them get away with stuff. Don't be doing that again. We all know redacted, but it is a short name. Could it possibly be Jen? Jen. We all know Jen was heavily involved in this, and I am disgusted that she is free and you are not when this is not all your fault. He has just stated that it is Stefan's fault, that he did it, but that Jen took part in it. That's what he just said. You need to think about yourself more and her less. She sure isn't thinking of you and how she can help you right now. That whole family is willing to stay quiet and let you take the fall for everything. When you do that, you are hurting us too. Please get out of your head over this and start talking with your attorneys. This stuff is serious and you need to approach it as life and death, which it is. And this is capital. He is correct. I think of the craziness redacted lived through with redacted various partners. I believe that says that Madeline, I think of the craziness Madeline lived through with Jen's various partners, not a stable life at all for a child. I do pray for Madeline and for you daily. I am thrilled that you are working out again, have a physical outlet for the stress. I hope you get your coffee and candy straightened out quickly. So far, I haven't seen a cancellation Congo, blah, 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 blah. And this is mom talking. Mom should not have said that, but I'm glad she did. Pauline Buckles says, GF, even if it's partly his fault, he needs to be locked up. Oh, 100%. 100%. But I've been saying from the beginning, man, why has Jen Soto not been arrested on this? Why has she not been arrested? And you guys have given me lots of theories. Lots of good theories. Maybe she is turning state's evidence, stuff like that. Who knows? But this just said, hey, Jen is partly responsible. And guys, how could she not be? How could she not be partly responsible? It is it is beyond my ability to comprehend the whole idea that she didn't know what was going on in her house. I would so love to talk to. I know that Jen Soto had roommates. I know that there were people in and out of there. I would love to talk to those people. If you are one of those people or know one of those people, please, 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 please go over to my website, click on contact, and reach out to me. I will keep you anonymous. I would love any inside information on that. I would love it. Please, please do. Yeah, where were we? Let's get back over here. Please do that. Yeah, so what did Pauline say? Yeah, even if it's only partly his fault, he needs to be locked up. Oh, dude, no, this guy needs to go away forever, like for eternity. If he did what police say he did, he needs to go away forever. And I believe he did. I feel like the evidence is strong. Yes, this letter is from Mom. I caught that at the end. Autumn asks, could this help get Jen locked up? I mean, possibly, but Autumn, I think the police know all about Jen's involvement, and we're going to get to, in fact, we're going to get to that now. Let's see. What is Red Wolf saying? Also, it could be for the audience, Gavin. Reference first email from father. So that would be greetings. How does this work? Is it like stale mail? I assume like everything else, everyone has access and can read these messages. I see what you're saying. Yes. So Red Wolf is like, hey, he's probably putting it out there publicly, or she is probably putting it out there publicly that Jen is involved. Good catch, Red Wolf. I love it. Let's see. Patricia says, Gavin, I think Jen should be charged with trafficking her child. Yeah, or worse. I think she should be charged with, what is that? Conspiracy, probably, or being it's not a co-conspirator. Like, I think she should be charged with the murder of her daughter. I really do. As being an accomplice. That's the word that I'm looking for, as being an accomplice. And this is why. Let me get to the thing why. You guys can go and read all the other stuff. I thought it was important to go through most of kind of the letters so that we kind of see the relationship that's building there in the jail, how Stefan is doing mentally. I do think that he is resigned to what's going to happen, though there's a part that I skipped that I can bring back here, that it's like, where was it? I've been busy looking through the library for anything, the law library says, for anything relevant to my own situation. I think I have found some things which give me hope, but only some. I'm not foolish enough to get my hopes entirely up for anything, and can really only hope that my legal team will agree with my ideas and are willing to pursue them as tenaciously as I want them to. Can't explain too much here, but there is still perhaps a slim hope for my situation. At any rate, my odds are not 0% at this time. Patience and faith and no small amount of praying and hoping is what is getting me through. Oh my goodness. Everybody has the privilege of exercising faith or not. But what about the prayers for Madeline? What about her prayers? Anyway, I maintain hope that I might be able to come home once this whole nasty business has reached its end, and I ask that you both remain hopeful as well and continue to pray for me to be delivered home again. I have to have that hope, or I would be falling into true despair and lose the will to live. So keep that hope yourselves as well. Patience and faith. That is the part that I think inspired Mom to say, dude, we know that Jen was involved in this. Don't protect her. She's not protecting you. Yeah. Okay. So let's get over to this story. This is from the 11th of July, or the 12th, when I was on vacation. But this is important, okay? Let's see. Where is this? Yeah. I was confused here for a second, but yeah, this is what I wanted to show you guys. Let me back this up just a little bit. Make sure that it fits. Okay. Days after 13-year-old Madeline Soto failed to show up at school and was reported missing, detectives used surveillance camera footage and... Wait a minute. Let's go back here. I keep thinking about how you would never rat out a friend. It really made me mad, and I felt like you valued them over us when you let them get away with this stuff. Do Stephen Stern's parents know about, like, his, what would we call this? His kink? Was he around people as he was growing up that had these kinds of fantasies that ultimately led to the long-term and disgusting abuse of Madeline Soto? Long-term and horrifying and tragically sad, disgusting abuse of Madeline Soto. Did his parents know about this? Is this something that was a pattern in his life? Okay, I'm going to go back. That just occurred to me. I feel like they know, or they knew, right? Like they knew they had a monster. I don't know. Maybe I've watched too much Dexter. Okay. Different thing entirely, but same kind of thing, like parental guidance of how to live with that particular illness, right? Okay, getting back to this one. Kissimmee, Florida. Days after 13-year-old Madeline Soto failed to show up at school and was reported missing, detectives used surveillance camera footage and license plate readers to retrace the movements of two different vehicles, including one allegedly driven by the boyfriend of Soto's mother. So, we knew about the tracking of Stephen Stern's Lincoln, but this is new, about the second vehicle. Both vehicles traveled to an area of St. Cloud not far from where Soto's decomposing body would later be found, newly released court records show. I tried to get my hands on those records. I have not been successful yet. It is unclear from the documents whom investigators believe was driving. That should say who investigators believe was driving the second vehicle. A white Nissan, which was photographed in St. Cloud hours after a silver Lincoln belonging to Soto's accused murderer reportedly made the journey. A white Nissan. Stephen Stearns, who had been dating Soto's mother, Jen Soto, has pleaded not guilty to SA and murdering the teen. He faces the death penalty if convicted, which goes back to his mom saying, this is life and death. This is not all your fault. Don't do this. This is life and death. I know she said it in here somewhere. Yeah. You need to approach this as if it is life and death because it is. Yeah, he's facing the death penalty. Stearns originally told detectives he dropped Soto off near Hunters Creek Middle School on the morning of February 26, but prosecutors believe he killed Soto in the Kissimmee apartment she shared with her mother Jennifer and then drove the teen's body to a remote area of St. Cloud. 2 days after Soto was reported missing and 2 days before her body was found, a detective with the Kissimmee Police Department was tasked with generating a driving profile for two vehicles that were suspected to be involved in the case, records show. First vehicle belonging to Stephen Stearns. The second vehicle, a white Nissan. One of the vehicles, a silver Lincoln MKZ, was allegedly driven by Stearns on the day Soto vanished, court documents indicated. Records released by prosecutors so far do not indicate who owned the second vehicle, a white Nissan. Guys, I'm going to give you one guess who you think that white Nissan belongs to. My sources, go ahead. Got your answer, final answer? My sources say that car belongs to none other than Jen Soto. And if that is the case, and she drove all around, then she was definitely involved. Definitely. Okay? Using security camera footage from the apartment and nearby businesses, the detective determined Stearns Lincoln left the Venetian Bay Village Apartments 7:40 a.m. on the 26th. Returned around 10:14 a.m. His vehicle then left the... Yeah, we all know about this. Let me just make sure. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. After tracing the movements of Stearns' silver Lincoln on the day of Soto's disappearance, the Kissimmee detective discovered the white Nissan had followed nearly the same route to St. Cloud the following day, records show. The following day. On February 27th at 3:16 a.m., the Nissan was captured on video leaving the apartment complex and traveling east along US 192, documents show. This makes me wonder if I actually have this document. Give me a second here, guys. I might have this document. Let's see if the... Yes, I do. Okay, let's back up. I have this document. This, by the way, came from Bree, one of our esteemed moderators. Okay, Detective Cabral. This report was 6/21. Supplemental report. On February 28th, 2024, I, Detective Cabral, number 743, was contacted by Major Crimes Detectives Morris and Detective Corporal Ilgen in regard to a homicide case. I was provided 2 license plates for vehicles that were suspected to be involved in the case on February 26th, 2024 and February 27th, 2024. IYLL82 on a silver Lincoln, which would be Stephen Stearns, and redacted on a white Nissan, both Florida plates. It is redacted because there has not been charges yet. I ran both vehicles through our Vigilant license plate reader query and received several hits. Utilizing the license plate reader hits as a point of reference, I began to generate a driving profile for the above listed vehicles. Later, when provided with video surveillance from the apartment complex, the starting and ending point of the vehicle's travel, those dates and times were added to the profile. I also provided these profiles to investigative analyst Monica Winstead of the Orange County Sheriff's Office for use in timeline construction with Orange County's own video resources. The chronological profile for the silver Lincoln bearing Florida plates, which I observed through the combination of apartment complex cameras, traffic cameras, and LPR cameras, is as follows. Okay, we all know about that, right? Let's then skip down to hopefully. All right. Yes. All that. This is all the MKZ. Okay. Similarly, we're here now. I developed a vehicle movement profile for the white Nissan with this license plate. I also reviewed the apartment complex camera footage for several times. Guys, this is definitely Jen's car, right? It has to be. I mean, my source says that she drives a white Nissan. And it's coming out of the same apartment complex. It's traveling the same route as the MKZ. Okay. Based on an LPR hit on the Nissan on February 27th, 2024, also at St. Cloud Commons, and another on Academy Drive, the same path the Lincoln took, I again followed the route of the vehicle using indicators on the trim package of the car, the travel times, and marker vehicles. Marker vehicles are vehicles that are nearby at the same times, right? At 03:16:15 hours, so that's 3:16 and 15 seconds in the morning, the white Nissan exits the complex utilizing the main gate. The vehicle follows the same path the Lincoln followed the previous day, with the exception of utilizing the front gate of the complex. So the exact same path, except they used the front gate instead of the back gate. And it goes all those. I don't want to skip over this. Hoagland Boulevard to West Vine Street, Dyer Boulevard and West Vine Street, Emory Avenue, West Vine Street, John Young Parkway, West Vine Street, Bill Peck Boulevard, East Erlo Benson Memorial Highway, Simpson Road on the highway, Pecan Street on the highway, St. Cloud Commons, 13th Street, Sergeant Graham Drive, 13th Street, Old Canoe Creek, Neptune Road, Budinger, Vermont, New York, Michigan, Delaware, Mississippi, all on 13th Street, and 2030 Old Hickory Road, St. Cloud. I then watched for the vehicle return path, and it is working in backwards from the thing. At 4:30 in the morning, vehicle returns through the front gate of the apartment complex and continues north past the intersection of San Sebastian and San Vital. I provided this data to Detective Morris and Detective Corporal Ilgen for use in the investigation. The traffic camera video was made available through access provided by the City of St. Cloud and may be uploaded at a later date. I hadn't even read this. I'm so glad that it occurred to me to read this. I want to hear your comments. Let's see this. Autumn asks, Gavin, was it ever determined if anyone else took photos on his phone or just him? Autumn, to my knowledge, they have not said. All they've said, and you can look at those documents on the website, as you know, because you're an amazing moderator of mine. But from what I remember, they detailed things about his male organ, things that he did to Madeline. I don't remember anything stating that anybody else was in the photo or somebody else took the photo. I don't know. Gavin, I'm waiting on CSMB distribution charges for Stefan and Jen. Why have so much if you're not selling? Yeah, that Baba Yaga, that is something that I was completely naive to the idea until you or somebody else on the channel brought it up. Like, why would it be on a Google Drive? It is only there to distribute. And I agree with that. I would imagine that those charges will eventually come. I'm curious what is on Jen's Google Drive. Nifty 50, the only delivered home he will ever see is in a pine box. Yeah, I think he's in trouble for sure. Carto says, Gavin, he feels overly entitled to attention, care, and special treatment, expecting others, particularly women and kids, to cater to his needs as a mother would. I mean, I didn't read that in between the lines, but yeah, he is pretty childish for sure. Patricia, his mom is probably baking cakes with files in them for Stefan as we speak. Yeah, I doubt that. I don't, if they can't get origami paper in there, I don't think that they're going to get some files in there. But we shall see what the future holds for Mr. Stearns. I think the future does not look so bright. I think that the case against him is strong. I was looking at the docket. He did waive his right to a speedy trial just a couple of days ago when his attorneys argued that they didn't have enough time to go through all of the discovery that they have been given. So his right to a speedy trial has officially been waived. That means that this could go on for a long, long time. In the meantime, I truly hope that Madeline is resting in peace and that her tragic and sad existence will be just a memory. I don't know. I believe in an afterlife, and I hope that she is enjoying hers, having been freed from what was a hurtful and disgusting life, not because of her, but because of her and him, and probably others. That's my guess. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It's good to be back in the saddle here. Please remember that you can interact with us over on the Fish Tank, guys. If you click on this little fishy up in the corner of my website, that will take you over to the Fish Tank, where we talk about all sorts of things, including this case and others. So please head on over there. We did have a terrific family vacation, by the way. We went to Santa Cruz and spent some time in Santa Cruz, which is on the central coast of California. It's a place where my wife spent a lot of time growing up, and to celebrate her parents' 50th anniversary, we all gathered as an extended family and had a very, very good time. And I shared some of those photos of the vacation along the way. So join us over here on the Fish Tank. We're like 1,900 people strong, if that's your gig. And with that, I will bid you adieu. Thank you very much for joining me again, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.